Well, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johson, potentially the worst in the history of the city, is now forcefully defending his administration's policies and the city's stance on illegal immigration and enforcement during a heated congressional hearing last week where Republican lawmakers pressed him on Chicago's refusal to assist federal immigration officials. Now, come to find out, they were lying about breaking federal immigration law. There were several mayors there. And according to Congresswomen Nancy Mace and Anna Paulina Luna, they weren't telling the truth. Joining me now to discuss the state of Chicago's immigration is the host of the Behind the Enemy Lines podcast, and he works with our own Ben Berquam on immigration stories in Chicago, Terry Newsome. Terry, nice to see you again.
How you doing? It's good to be back. I have a sore throat, so I apologize.
I used to go behind enemy lines to places like Wrigley Field, and places like that. I haven't been to Chicago much lately. I'm only a 3-hour drive away, but I don't go there. And it's the crime and it's the illegals, and I see the moms there. I knew there was something wrong in Chicago when I saw the black moms, a year ago and during the summer last year saying they've taken our community center. They've taken our other facilities. They've taken over our city, have the illegals. And these moms were mad as hell. That was a turning point, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It's not just taking over these centers, but, they take over their schools. The Chicago public school system, they had I think 11,000 students, and it's roughly 30 to 35,000 per student. Plus they have to be bilingual, and they were putting these kids in schools where they didn't have bilingual teachers, and they suddenly all got 70 grades, right? So they're getting that money, right? So to them, they don't really care about educating the children or making the community safe for that matter, because it's hit a boiling point and the crime has flooded out. Even my neighbor, I have a doctor down the block here whose home was robbed by Venezuelan gangs.
Oh, how heartwarming is that? They're just, listen, Terry, they're just newcomers. They just want to be friends. I mean, the way you hear the left talk about this is such nonsense. So what about all the money spent? What about the mayor sitting there? Because it wasn't just Johnson, which, by the way, I thought Lori Lightweight was going to be the worst mayor in Chicago history. And then this guy comes along.
Oh, my God, yeah.
This guy's setting all new standards for being awful, isn't he?
Yeah, he has got 6% approval rating. So I think that's the worst in history. And he's, you notice he said, about 1% of our revenue. Well, it's the city of Chicago themselves that we know of spent $700 million. There's tons of money through the NGOs, through the state of Illinois. Supposedly, Pritzker spent $1.9 billion from the state. And then I have FOIAs that showed Joe Biden's
Where, at the buffet?
Yeah,
Sorry.
right. Oh, yeah. So I have an email. One of Joe Biden's special advisors sent the deputy mayor. They gave him Department of Transportation funds for these illegal buses, the warming buses. So I never even heard anywhere in the country about Department of Transportation funds, and they said it was non-recoverable. So I could imagine how many departments funneled money into them, And then when they were speaking to Congress,
Terry, all of the departments of the federal government were slicing money off for illegals here and there and everywhere. At all different. You know this now. Every department of Education, Department of Interior, all of them, one right after another. It's ridiculous. And Chicago, this guy, I mean, what are his approval numbers? 20%? 25%?
6%. 6.5. Swear to God.
6 is in 6.
Yes, 6. Look it up. I'm not in 6.5%.
Maybe they should bring in Tiffany Henyard. She might improve the numbers in Chicago. I mean, she's available for work now that she's out of Dalton, right?
You know what's ironic? You know what's ironic, Steve, is last week, they all lied, about immigration reform. We don't break any federal laws. So that's up to the Congress to prove that. But Brandon Johson said it twice, and all 4 of them said they don't break any federal laws. All 4 of them illegally sell weed in their cities. This isn't about, anti-weed, pro-con weed, right? It's a federal crime.
Wait. What do you mean they sell weed illegally in the cities?
Even though they legalized it in the states and the cities, right? They said we don't break federal crime, right? They said we don't break any federal laws. Go back and look at it. Well, it's illegal. It's on his website. It says state of Illinois legalized in 2021 marijuana, but it's still a federal crime. So when he said that to Congress, that's another lie. He's got weed shops throughout Chicago. And again, I don't care if people sell weed or not. What Trump should do is have Bondi call him, say, listen, we got you for lying. He needs to do a little offer, make him an offer you can't refuse, Chicago style. Say, listen, you got caught lying twice. You're illegally selling.
And Terry, I agree with you. And that's a nice idea. But you know what the problem is, Terry? You end up with some other schmuck. No better than Lori Lightweight, no better than Brandon Johnson. You'd end up with some other schmuck that's just as big a socialist and just a big, loser, frankly. I wish more for Chicago. I love Chicago. I used to go there a lot. I love Rush Street and the downtown and the waterfront. Anyhow, give me the last word.
Yeah, Steve, so what he should do is have this say, hey, we're going to send the DEA shut down every weed shop until you cooperate with Tom Hallman and do the right thing for your citizens. Otherwise, we'll shut every shop down until you cooperate. And then, once they cooperate, put them up again. Right?
No more bong rips until you do what's right. Yeah, that'll get their attention. I'll tell you that. No question.
If you don't mind,
Terry, you come back anytime.
At Terry Newsome 357. Twitter.
Yeah,
Terry Newsome 357.
There you go. Terry Newsome 357. I don't mind if he gives a shout out. He's earned. He's a good guy. Hangs out with Ben Berquam and brings us good information. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on America's Voice Live.